All right. So, first of all, I just want to thank all of my panelists for hanging out with me today, hanging out this morning and showing up and doing this because one of the things that we believe so strongly at Fit Chicks Academy is that we cannot be what we cannot see. So, we cannot actually be successful in and understand what is even possible for us until we can actually see what is possible through other people, through actually watching other people go through it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Yes.
think it really helps. And so having you all here to hang out and to share your message and to share your stories is just, it's super, super helpful because I think it just allows for people to see that. So, first of all, I just want everyone to take a second and I'm just going to go in order and just have each of you introduce yourself and just share just a little bit more about who you are, just not even just as a coach, but just as an individual. And then also just share a little bit more about your journey before becoming a coach. So I'd love to start there because I feel like it's really important for everyone to just know who you are and why you're here and how you got started. So, Christy, I'm going to start with you and then I'm just going to go around and have everyone else. And then the only thing I'm going to ask is if you're not speaking as a panelist, if we could just mute ourselves and then unmute when I'll call on everyone just so then that way there's not like background noise or any feedback or anything. Amazing. Awesome. So, Christy, hello, good morning.
Hello,
Nice
good
to meet
morning, guys.
you.
Okay, a little bit about myself. So I'm a mom of three boys. I do work full time as well as run my business now after getting certified with Fit Chicks. Um, Background as to how I got into this. I was actually certified with Fit Chicks 14 years ago to teach boot camps.
Yeah.
Um, just after my first son was born. And well, a couple of years after. He's 18 now. So oh God. Anyways, so and yeah, and then just life got busy. I was teaching and then I stopped for a while and COVID hit and I decided to get recertified again. And then yeah, it's kind of what I've done. I got recertified in all the fitness and nutrition and then as well as the perimenopause menopause coaching. And I started my business during COVID with H3 Fit as my business. And now I just work full time, part time, or full time on my business if I can, and then run around with my three boys in sports.
Oh,
My
nice.
husband is there to help me as well, but
I love that though. But yeah, for anyone, like when Christy mentioned, like at the beginning, so she actually used to work for us. So she was actually an instructor for us at one of our
yeah.
locations. And so that's how our sort of like relationship even began, is that we hired her as a coach. And you were certified through, not through us at the time. You were certified
No,
through
sorry, yes, through CanFit
a
Pro.
different,
Yeah.
but then you took ours. And so, I mean, I'll talk to you about that later because I'm curious to know what you thought about the training in comparison to other certifications.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. So I think, yeah, like she started with us working for us and then stopped working essentially, and then now started back up, but with your own business, which
Yeah.
is amazing, which is amazing. And I want to hear all about everything that you're doing with your business because I know it's exciting and I know you had a lot of big things happen, but that's awesome. Thank you, Christy. Now, Cindy, can you just jump in and share a little bit more about you and just where you were at before you got certified as a coach?
Okay. All right. Well, my name is Cindy. I am 34 years old. I was called to be an entrepreneur when I was about 27 or 28. So ever since then, I've been on a journey looking for the right coaching program to help me launch a business. Um, I actually lost 60 pounds on my own. When I was 27, I realized that I wanted to start getting in shape and being the healthiest version of myself. I'm still like that, so I really like being like that. I lost 60 pounds on my own through macro coaching, macro counting, and eating clean and working out. So I really did get several personal trainers, but I ended up teaching myself a lot about strength training and bodybuilding and making the best smoothies and learning how to cook and then counting my macros. So I was able to lose weight. And ever since then, literally the second day that I saw the weight coming off, I decided that I was going to teach women how to improve their health and just get into that field.
Sorry, I always mute myself too, so I don't have any background noise, but you're a recent graduate of our academy as well. You're
Yes.
someone who just recently graduated. So you're very curious to know because it's like you are like a fresh grad. So it's, giving us a different perspective as well. So I'm really excited to hear from you. Thank you so much, Cindy. And then Wanda, can you jump in and share a little bit more about your background? And then we're gonna like dive in because I've got some like and just so everyone knows, I haven't told anyone what the questions are. So we're coming into this with like completely like just blind faith that I'm gonna ask you some amazing questions. So all right,
All right.
Wanda, go for it.
So I've been in the fitness industry now it'll be 20 years in December. I worked at the gym for 10 years. I left it in 2016, January 1st. Started in my own business with personal training. I've given a lot of nutrition advice and stuff, but I've never had any concrete proof or material. And during COVID, because I had, some spare time, I shopped for different programs to go on. Fit Chicks, yeah, just hit home. Just I knew them from CanFit Pro Conference, Canadian folks, and I just loved just even meeting Amanda just when I was signing up. So yeah, so I guess before the nutrition coaching, I've been doing this, and I love movement. It was
Yeah.
always in my life, even before I knew it meant a thing. So that's what brought me into the fitness world. Um, yeah, so I don't really know what else to say besides I've always been in it, and I just needed more material, trusted material, and yes, mom of two, I guess I could put in there too. Adult children now. I'm 54, and I've taken every course that you've offered already so far because that helped my business grow.
I love that. I love that you've literally taken every single one of our certifications. And again, same question like that I'll have for you later is just like in comparison to other programs, because I know you've taken multiple. I'd be curious to know your comparison in your mind, in your own personal experience, but we'll get to that. Now, what I really want to ask you all, and again, I'm just going to call you out in person so that we're not talking over each other, but I'd love to know like, so the other day I was teaching in our holistic fitness coach week. I was for everyone who is live, who got my micro training. I did a micro training about the safety and security and freedom spectrum. And so the safety, security, and freedom spectrum, for those of you who don't know, who maybe weren't live with me the other day, is essentially just looking at sort of your personal assessment on how much risk you're willing to take. So if you are someone who is like, I'm totally risk adverse, I don't like risk, I'm much more in the safety zone. I like things that be predictable. I like things to be very like set. It kind of stays the same. I like that consistency. Whereas, and you kind of crave that side of it. Whereas somebody who's on the other side of the spectrum is someone like that craves freedom. They want freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of creativity, freedom of their life, as a lot of you on my live the other day said, where you want this freedom to be able to just decide, like, what does my life look like? And I get to wake up every day and make those decisions. So, my question for all of you who are on my panel today is, when you are thinking about, where you're at on that safety, security, freedom spectrum versus where you are now versus where you were before you got certified, would you say that feeling like getting certified helped you go from like, maybe if you're rating it at a 1 to 10 on a safety and security spectrum, it would be like, oh, on the safety side I was more a 3, let's say, for example, at the beginning, and then once I got certified it gave me certainty to feel like I could move forward more towards my freedom? Or did you kind of feel like you stayed still in like a safety zone or a security zone, or you know what I mean? So it's kind of like figuring out where you kind of fell before you got certified, and then versus where you feel like you're at right now, knowing that you have more skills, more tools, more knowledge to be able to actually move you towards freedom, which is what essentially as human beings we majority all crave, is this freedom, this time freedom, money freedom, and ability to be able to choose. So I'll start with you, Chrissy, and I'll just keep going in like that same sequence. So Christy, where would you say you were at before versus maybe now where you might feel like you are in that spectrum?
Um, oh, it's kind of a tough question because where I'm at in life, right?
Yeah.
So I think prior to getting certified, absolutely, I was in that safety zone of like not wanting to take risks, not wanting to put myself out there. Um, it's just, but I do find after getting certified and having this behind me, maybe not right away, but it took a little bit to get me to the point where I was like, okay, I can put myself out there. I can take a few more risks. I can trust myself a bit more to do this stuff. As far as freedom for my future, um, it definitely has helped me 100%, right? I'm in a different space where I have my three boys. One's going to university, one's, soon to be university, and the other one's still. So that stuff holds me back a bit. But if you're looking at the whole picture of certification and knowledge, absolutely, it's given me the confidence to move forward with my stuff.
Amazing. Amazing. And I think, yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't necessarily mean that you're like, I'm ready to just go from one side to the other. But I think that what happens is, and this is kind of what I was sharing with a lot of people during the workshop, the micro training the other day, is that we kind of gradually move as we go through life if we make decisions to move us forward. So Cindy, I'd love to hear from you. I know that you're newly a graduate, so I'd love to hear like your thoughts on the safety, security, freedom spectrum, and if that influenced even your decision to get certified.
Yes, so I do crave that freedom, freedom to create my own schedule. Um, and but one thing I notice is that I do need structure. So getting certified and being on the coaching calls after really helps me to figure out what I need to do next and how I'm going to structure my business. Because if I were to do it on my own, I would not know what to do, or it would take me a long time to figure out. So I like having that um, kind of like someone to check in with because it helps me to just stay accountable
Hmm.
and stay inspired and motivated.
Right. Yeah, no. And I think too, like just for everyone so that they know what you mean. So Cindy, as a new graduate of our academy, she has, and for everyone who's watching, that you have that access to me directly as your business coach as part of your level 2 training. So it's Cindy's been booking in with me and you've been really diligent about it where you're like, I'm going to show up and I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity to be able to do this. And I'm actually really grateful that you're doing that because I think I open up my calendar for that reason. Like I'm genuinely a resource that's been doing this for so many years and I'm trying to really support. So I think having the ability to do it and then taking advantage of it to be able to move you forward. Have you felt like that's been helpful? I'm just curious. Because
Yeah.
I know we've only met a couple times, but I feel like we've had some big conversations. It's not just like simplistic things we're talking about, a lot of different aspects of your business and really building a foundation.
Yes. When I was 27, I started working with a business coach, and I really liked that. I could talk to her every day or every 2 weeks. We would have a coaching call.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I had to become more financially stable. So I joined another coaching program, but now I'm here at FitChicks, and it's been really helpful. This is what I'm looking for: someone who's been there. My vision has always been to launch these group challenges for women. So it's amazing that I've been able to find someone who's been there, someone who's done it, and who can help me do the same.
Awesome. That's amazing. And no, and I'm just like I really love it. It's like one of my favorite things to do. And look, we have another attendee, another panelist joining us. Sonia, hello. Welcome, Sonia. How are you? Oh, you're
Hi,
muted. Hold on. There we
there we
are.
go. I'm well, thank you. And
Oh,
it's
nice
good
to
to
see
be
you.
here.
Nice to see you. I'm so happy that you're able to make it. I know that this is an early morning or maybe a later in the day for you, but
Yes, it's more closer to noon.
yeah, definitely. But welcome. So before we get into the question, Wanda, that I was just asking, I just want Sonia, can you just take a second and just introduce yourself just so that you're popping in, you're just get to introduce yourself. Just tell our group a little bit more about who you are and sort of where you were at before you got certified as a coach.
Okay. I've predominantly been into fitness for a while, and I've moved to Canada many years ago, worked in healthcare, injured my knee, switched roles, doing community walks and runs, decided register my name, Sonic Sans Fitness in 2020. I promote free outdoor walking events where I live, and I started doing Oxygen Magazine challenges. And in the 08 season, I was nominated as team motivator. So I decided, Fit Chicks, I'd followed you first since coming to Canada 2008, and I thought, yes, this is it. Fitness, nutrition expert, I've got all three. Yeah, this is it. I can start taking myself forward with progression in the community where I live to pass my knowledge on. So, and that's where I am. I'm waiting a knee replacement, but I'm the queen of modifications. So
I love that. I love that so much. And I think, that's actually one of the biggest things. When you're a queen of modifications, it's probably the most helpful thing you could be too for your clients, because I'm sure you're
yes,
running into so many people that are just, it's like, it literally makes you stand out as a coach. I truly believe when you're actually able to help people modify so they never feel like unsupported. Would you agree with that?
yes. There's a lot of people feel they can't attend some types of classes,
Hmm.
or it's not for them, and we don't know what to do. And all you can do is keep trying to promote.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you know, even if it's some of your own demonstrations, even on all the Instagram, you see all these belladonnas, but really in reality, we're just everyday people. And that's what people would rather see than overly big influencers. It's good to have, but it's nice to see natural, pure, this is what we look like in
Yeah.
the flesh.
Yeah, people that are just like us, right? Just everyday people
Yeah.
that can just, if we can do it, you can do it too, kind of mentality. And I think that's such a cool statement too, because it kind of reinforces even what Laura and I keep telling people, which is, people look at even our business and they think, "Oh my gosh, like I could never do that." But like we were just like two best friends sitting in our living room in our little like condo, you know what I mean, in downtown Toronto, and we just decided, we just made a decision to move forward. That was it. That's the only difference between us and a lot of people, is that we just made a decision to move forward. So, all right, Sonia, I'm going to mute you for a second because we're just muting in between so that we don't have any feedback. But Wanda, I want to hear your thoughts on the safety and security spectrum and just sort of where you were at before versus where you feel like you're at now.
Perfect. Yes. So I have a whiteboard down on the floor there, and I just wrote on it this week is it takes one decision to make a change.
Oh, I
And you
love
just
that.
said that.
So
Yeah.
true. It's so true.
Yeah. So when I worked at the gym, I was there for 10 years. I became a new trainer there. I always went to the gym, but I never was a trainer. And the owner hired me on, and I've got my personal training certificate there. I tried doing nutrition, weight loss programs there, but I had to make this stuff up on my own, right? So I'm trying to make it legit. And so I wasn't very confident with it. We had good success. We've had people following and stuff, but I wasn't confident with it.
Hmm.
The biggest step was to leave the gym because I love that security. I love that paycheck coming in, right? Like that safe space. And then I got bored of the safe space. So at year 10, I put my notice in and came to work the next Monday here. Lucked out. A lot of clients kind of came with me.
Hmm.
And I found new clients even before I even left the gym. So I guess COVID is the thing, right? That helped me because I had that time on my hands to learn more, which I was super actually excited about. Like I've been training for COVID my whole life. and when it did come, I took full on advantage of it. So my confidence is gone up. Can I say a 10? I don't know. There's always room for improvement, I guess. So maybe a 9. I love being able to offer free programs, paid programs, personal coaching, one-on-ones, and just having material to go to that's right there, that's trusted. I don't have to go Google something. It just brought my confidence up way better. And I love that it confirmed that what I was preaching was correct. But having that material there definitely brought the confidence up and the security there. But I'm all about through COVID, I guess a lot of coaching I took on, even personal coaching, was I'm up for anything now. If it's going to be scary and hard, sign me up. Sign me up. So yeah, just being safe and not knowing what the outcome's going to be, I've outgrown that, I think. So yeah, just do it.
That's so amazing. I love that statement so much. Like you're like, I've outgrown that thought that like it no longer serves me, right? It doesn't serve me to be sitting there playing small. It doesn't serve me to be like holding myself back thinking, oh, well, maybe I can't do this or maybe I can't, you know what I mean? Like you just have to try. Like I genuinely like for everybody watching and for even my grads who might have other things that are coming up, other obstacles or things that are coming up in your life, I promise you if you just make a decision to move forward, and it's just the one decision to just decide. When Laura and I started our business, like we were on, and I explained this in the safety and security spectrum training, but like I was much more like on the freedom side. Like I don't operate as like a risk adverse person. I'm very like high risk. Like I'm very comfortable with high risk. It's just how I operate. I'm very like, let's just do it, right? Like that's just who I am. Whereas Laura is completely the opposite. She's like super on the safety side and security side. So we balance each other really well, or else I feel like our business would be really chaotic if it was just me in the driver's seat. But she is like, maybe just like flying through things all the time. But she keeps it balanced at the same time. But I also move things forward. But both of us, it's like, when we look at our business, it was like every single thing is just deciding. We just decided to show up. We just decided to move forward. We just decided in a place where, everyone's like, oh, this is crazy. You shouldn't do this. We're like, we're just going to do it anyways. And we're just going to see what happens. And even now in our business, like when we stopped teaching our boot camps after a decade of running boot camps that were super successful and that built us into a 7-figure business, we just decided that didn't serve us anymore for where we wanted to go in our life. And so we close it. Like, think about that. Think about taking something that was generating 7 figures for you and saying, I'm going to shut that part of my business down. The idea of like safety and security versus freedom, that's crazy, right? Like it feels crazy if you think about that. But we were like, yeah, but the way we envision our business and the way we envision our lives is completely different from where it was 10 years ago versus where it is today. And so we've got to let go of those pieces that don't serve us today for tomorrow, right? And that's kind of the thing. And like, I know even when I just said that statement out loud, because I've never actually said it out loud like that, I'm like, wow, that is kind of a crazy thing that we did. Like, we were just like, yeah, we loved our boot camps. We loved our programs. We loved our chicks. We loved everything about all of our trainers. We loved every aspect of it. But for us, we were just like, it just, in order for us to progress and move forward to the people that we want to be, the coaches we want to be, the business we wanted to be, we had to let go of things that were keeping us stuck. And that's what safety and security does. It keeps you in a certain place that keeps you feeling, and it's not a negative thing. Sometimes it's just that it keeps you in a certain place, right? Like it's almost like you're in mud. And so we've got to like let go of things to be able to move forward to the next piece. And I think you evolve as human beings as your business evolves. So every single aspect of you changes. And that's kind of how we've seen it is like our business evolves as we evolve. And so every single piece of our business, if you look back at our business from 2008 to where it is today, it's like night and day. And we didn't know where it was going to go, but we just knew that we were going to build it and allow it to grow as we grew and shift and change. And I'm like, one day will it completely evolve from this? Maybe, possibly. We have no idea. But we're just kind of like allowing everything to happen as it needs to happen in order to continue to build more freedom in our lives, freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of energy, freedom of creativity. If something doesn't feel like it's serving us, we have to let it go to move forward. So So sorry. That was like a little tangent, but I love what you said, Wanda. It really just triggered that thought in me is like, we really have to be able to just decide to move forward and let go of the things that are holding us back. Sonia, I know that you missed this first part, but I just want to ask you the same question. I was just suggesting that every single person, before we begin any kind of journey, we have like this safety sort of net that we kind of stay within. But then when we decide, it's like we're moving more towards freedom, freedom of time, money, and security. I mean, creativity, security as well. But we're moving towards like what we truly want in our life. Would you say that there was something in your life that you felt like was holding you back before that you've now kind of moved past to be able to move into freedom? And you're just muted, so yeah. There we
Okay.
are.
When I moved to Canada in 2008, I was a registered manager of a 19-bed dementia care home. So I'd come to Canada and actually stepped down as a CCA and worked in a nursing home for the last 12. And how I got teaching at the local gym was through friends and the manager saying, go for it. So this opened another little door. And now eventually, because I can't work as a CCA, I've switched. I started a new job doing nights 11 till 7 in a group home. Now, suddenly my day's my own now because I've got to be mindful of my knee, which means I can further my education and still deliver programs. So now I've become cancer exercise certified in January with SETI, and now I've signed up with the University of Calgary to deliver and train to be able to do the Excel program, which is a 5-year research out of Dalhousie in Nova Scotia for exercise and cancer. So I
Wow,
can
that's
actually take the program. So I've always been a goal minded for next steps. So yeah, switching to night work for physical health, but it's also helped that I can mentally grow at the same time. And I can forward those goals. So now I've got a new goal towards the end of this year in place, whether or not it brings me extra financial constraint, financial benefits, but at the same time, I'm in a position that I'm okay to be doing what I'm doing. So I have a happy heart. Like, you know, my day is my own, and that's the freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. My day is my own, and that's the freedom. That's such a good statement. It's so true. I know a lot of people, when I was doing the safety and security spectrum micro training, they were saying that's the thing we crave, right? It's not even just time, money, creativity, everything else. It's just having our life, knowing that our life is our life, knowing that our life is our decision. It's the one thing that Laura and I live by, right? Is that every single day I get to hang out with like you guys, like this morning, and then I get to hang out with other people later this afternoon. And then when I teach my classes, I get to choose like, but everything is a choice. Our to-do list, our like 10-page to-do list that we build for ourselves every week, those are choices that we get to decide on. No one is actually indicating or dictating what those things are for us. We get to decide, and having that freedom to like be, I pick up my daughter from school and I'll be like, I'm not going to go back to work now. I'm just going to like go to the park and we're going to go hang out and stuff. Having those freedoms, knowing that every single decision and every single thing is my choice it's probably one of the best gifts in the world, in my opinion. Now, I'd love to hear from each of you because I know that there's a lot of aspiring coaches in our Holistic Fitness Coach Week. And so shout out to all of you. Um, but for every single one of you, I'm sure there was something that has come up where it was like a mindset block, a belief that you had or that you thought was a fact, that you thought was true before you got certified as a coach, where it could have been like, you know, the market's too saturated. I don't know how I could build a business. Or oftentimes it's, I've been in this career for so long. How can I transition? Is it too late for me? Am I quote unquote fit enough? This is like a lot of blocks. And we've been seeing this even in the different workshops that we've been teaching, these mindset blocks. So I'd love to hear if each of you had your own mindset block. And if you did, how you moved past that, and then if that even exists now in your mind, because I know like the blocks that I had previously, they don't exist. It's all new ones now that come up for me. Like, oh my gosh, could we really like, develop our business to being like what we envision it to be now? Like, and I run into those roadblocks like, am I that type of leader that can do those things, right? Like, those are the kinds of things that come in now. It's no longer like the things like, oh, is anyone going to show up to my class? Now it's a bigger scale thing, but the fears still come and the thoughts still come and the disbeliefs still come, but they just shift and change, I think. But I'd love to know if each of you, if you had one, if you didn't, that's totally fine. But if you did, what that was, and then how you moved past it, and if it still exists today. So, Christy, I'll start with you.
For sure. So when I first started, which is kind of still there, so when I first started, I live in a small town. So I'm like, pretty exactly what you said. Is it too saturated where I am, right? With all this stuff, because there was quite a few things already out there. So that was a huge roadblock for me. My other one, and I'm still working on it, is I don't necessarily feel like I look like a personal trainer, right? Or someone who teaches boot camps. I will say I did when I started in COVID because I had all the time to work on myself. And then, which I'm sure, you might touch a bit on, but when perimenopause hit, things started to change a little bit. So it's actually come up worse now. But for me, the saturation part of it has subsided because I just like things have been able to ramp up and I'm getting my name out there and people are noticing me a lot more and coming to my classes and coming to me for nutrition plans and perimenopause coaching. So that part I'm not worried about anymore. It was definitely there. I'm still working on the look of a personal trainer aspect, and that's sometimes a tough one to overcome. I think as a female, it's a tough one to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think that especially if it's something that's you've struggled with or anything throughout your life, or if you've had any kind of like body dysmorphia, body image issues, or anything like that as you were growing up or anything, it's like one of those things that like kind of can sit in the back of your brain. The one thing that I'll share with you, just maybe this will help, but I think that, we always get so caught up in the idea of like, oh my gosh, is someone going to come in and think like, oh, I'm not fit enough? I always think the ideal coaches are people who know how to coach other people towards their goals because it's not about you. It's not about you at all. It's really about your clients, what they need, what their goals are, you having the skills and abilities because every single person has individual goals and individual desires. Like some of my clients, they'd be like, I want to be like ripped and I want to have a six pack. And I was like, I've never had that desire in my whole life. And that's just my own personal goals and desires. Mine has always been I want to be able to do a handstand, like a freestanding handstand and just hold it and like go up with like, like when you see, I don't know if anyone's ever seen this on social media when they like put their hands on and then they just like use their entire core to just like a lever. They don't even like kick their legs up. They just like pull it. That is like literally life goal for me. So I'm not there. I'm not there, but I'm hoping one day I will get there. I was close at one point and then I kind of lost it after I had my daughter because like I had a C-section, core gets a little crazy after all that kind of stuff, right? But what I'm saying is it doesn't I think that thought of like, oh, am I fit enough or things like that, that's really, it is just a personal thing because I promise you that none of your clients are ever concerned with any of those things because it's about you coaching them. It's about you having the skills to coach them. And every single one of you is going to attract the people that are inspired by you and who you are right now because who you are right now is exactly who you need to be to inspire the people in your tribe. And like, I had people in my class that were much fitter than me, that were much stronger than me, that much faster than me. And it didn't matter at all. It literally did not. I remember this one time I did a speaking engagement at an event. It was the Strong Women Conference. And it was right after I had my daughter. I think it was like 2 months after. Like I was like a brand new mom. And, I had like some post baby weight and stuff because I wasn't worried about like that post baby bounce back and all that stuff because I feel like that's just like a sham that we get fed in this industry. Um, but I think that if people want that, that's okay. But I think that it's like the pressure on that is so massive that I just don't necessarily know if it's true. But anyhow, I'll just share this quickly that when I was at this event, I remember I called Laura before and I was like at this hotel and I was like, I feel like I need to go get a shirt made that said, I just had a daughter. Like I just had a baby. Cause I was like, I'm going to the Strong Woman Conference and I'm standing on the stage in front of like all these people. And like it's this massive conference. And I feel like people are going to be looking at me and be like, she's not strong. Cause I was like, because I think I gained, I don't even know because I don't weigh myself, so I have no idea how much weight I gained. But I know that I was within the range of like healthy and it was fine my pregnancy, but I still just didn't feel like myself in my skin. And I remember saying to her, I was like, I feel like I need to have this shirt made. And then I was like, but then I checked myself and I was like, no, that's so like not necessary. But no, not one person came to me after and said anything. Nobody was concerned. Everybody paid attention. Everybody listened. They took notes. People took photos with me after. We were like chatting after. It really doesn't matter, right? And I know that it is just like a personal thing that we have to work through, but I don't ever let that hold you back from your coaching and your abilities on the outside, because I promise you that that's the last thing that people are worried about, and they're inspired by you as a coach because of who you are inside, outside, every aspect of you. So please just don't let that hold you back. um Now, Cindy, what about you? Did you have any mindset blocks or anything that came up for you prior to coaching that you kind of had to work through? I'd love to hear about it.
Yes, I had a big one. I grew up in the major societal belief that we all had to go to finish high school, go to college, and then get a job, just like any job, and then immediately start working and basically lose yourself. um,
Yeah.
so I started doing that. I actually went to graduate school, and then when I got back to my hometown, I just started working all these jobs. It wasn't until I met my first kind of like life coach where I learned that I could actually be a health fitness coach. And honestly, I never thought that I could ever do that. It's almost like I had to ask permission to do it. It was just so crazy. It was such a weird feeling. But but ever since then, I mean, I've been in this field for maybe like, I don't know, 6 years now, but it's amazing to that I was able to reclaim myself and do what I want to do, not what society is telling me I should do.
Oh, that's so good. I love that. And I totally can relate to that because Laura and I, same thing. People thought we just started this business because we were all into health and fitness and we love health and fitness, but we did what we thought we were supposed to do. We went to school, post-secondary school, got the jobs, both work jobs. She was international marketing manager for Hilton Hotels. Great job at a very young age. I was the manager of sponsorship and advertising for the Toronto International Film Festival. And prior to that, I worked in the music industry, going on tours with like bands in the summer and then running an amphitheater and stuff, like events on site. And like had these really cool jobs and opportunities, but just felt like it didn't align at all. Did you feel that, Cindy? Like I felt like, I just felt like nothing that we were doing actually lit me up, made me feel excited. I felt like we'd come home from work and be like, how was your day? And it was like, "Meh." Like, the question we used to ask each other was, is this actually all there is to life? To literally go to a job that we just feel kind of meh about, even though they were great jobs, and then come home and just eat dinner, go to bed, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. Because we're like, if that's it, that's not my favorite, right? Like that's not my favorite thing. And so we're like, how do we fix that? Did you feel that same kind of like feeling or pressure?
Um, I have always noticed that all the jobs where I've worked for other companies, different people, that my self-esteem has always been kind of low when I got home. And I when I'm in my own business, it's never like that. It's like I'm the one who's running the show. I'm the one, creating things, being creative, organizing things on my schedule. And my self-esteem is like glowing. I'm in the best mood. Money's flowing in. And I still have a job now, but I noticed that interesting factor about working for another company. It's everything I have to deal with at the job, people's moods, behaviors, different things I have to deal with versus in my own business, it's completely different. So,
Right. And do you find too, having it, even though you have a job that you don't necessarily resonate with as much, and then you have your fitness business on the side, do you feel like it's fulfilling that kind of need? Because that was the same thing with Laura and I. Like that first year and a half when we were building our business while still working full time, we were like having that like passion project on the side that we knew we were building towards something different was so like it was not only so rewarding, but it was like this is the thing. It's like no longer the days felt meh, they felt like exciting because we were like we had something different in our minds and in our hearts to think about as opposed to just feeling like we were stuck here.
Yes, it's nice for me to have a goal. So every time I go to work, happy to be there, go to make money, and move towards my ultimate goal, which is obviously to have a flourishing fitness company, and my fitness equipment store as well. So I've noticed that I've become more quiet. I don't really talk about it as much. I just work in private basically about it.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Cindy. Now, Wanda, what about you? Any mindset blocks, anything that was kind of holding you back?
Well, it started like in high school. There was one girl, she had a job as a fitness instructor at the gym. And I'm like, oh my God, that would be like the coolest job ever. But I'm like, who makes money doing fitness? And I
Uh,
like put that wall up myself and I let that go.
yeah.
I because the plan was that I was going to grow up and be an accountant. It did not fall through at all. um, and then I was 35. The kids were full time in school, and I'm like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life instead of like just working local jobs here? Um,
Right.
so then I started working at the gym. But before this course, I think imposter syndrome was my blocker, right?
Mm.
I would compare myself to all the other fitter trainers, the ones that are nutritionists, way up there. And then just growing in the business and talking to clients and just kind of, I don't know, just learning, I guess, is that people are going to come to me when they're in the chapter that I can help them with.
Mhm.
If they need higher up stuff, once like they'll do me and then they'll move up to whatever they need, if they need more medical help and or so I'm not into powerlifting. I'm into just functional, get yourself healthy, keep yourself out of the medical world is my goal for my clientele and myself. Um, and just changing that, getting rid of imposter syndrome is I am who I am. I can't change it. I not like it's just who I am. And my classes are filled up. My training schedule is filled up with people that relate to me and I relate to them. So it took a bit to get past the imposter syndrome. But with this, having this behind my back, having the certification in nutrition coaching definitely upped the ante.
I love that. I love that you share that. Thank you. Because I think that is like the imposter syndrome of like, do I know enough? Am I like skilled enough? Do I have the tools? Is such a big thing that does come up for people where they think, oh, well, will I be ready? Will I be prepared? Did you feel like, I mean, you had other education, but did you feel like after you finished this program that you felt like, did that kind of eliminate a lot of those thoughts and fears around like, do I have the skills, the
It
tools, and
totally
everything?
did. It totally did. I am so grateful I did it. I'm just happy that I found you guys when I did. I needed you in my business, being on my own and trying to train one-on-ones to make the income come in and not be able to like do my research and do all this stuff. And then when I found you guys and you're like, here's all the stuff you need, it just went away and definitely helped.
Yeah. Oh, Leanne just wants to know, Wendy, if sorry, Wanda, I think she
Yeah.
meant, if your business is at home, because she's like, I see all your exercise equipment. It looks great.
Yes. Yeah. This is my
Yeah.
office. Yeah. I
Look
work
at
out of
that. Isn't
here,
that so cool?
40 hours a week. I do fitness classes through the county in another town. I have my own personal classes here in town as well. So yeah, it's
That's such a
eat, breathe,
cool,
and sleep this stuff.
such a cool office space. I love it.
Right. Thank you.
Amazing. And then Sonia, thank you so much, Wendy. Wanda. Now I'm calling you Wendy. I'm sorry. Wanda. um, Sonia, same question for you. Any mindset blocks that you had to overcome to be able to help you move forward, and what did that look like for you? Oh, hold on, you're just muted. Sorry, there we go.
I had some challenges back in the UK, which the door opened for me to come here to Canada. So I kind of have a story through with like mental health, and because I actually overcome that issue, I have a lot of gratitude for life. It was quite traumatic what I'd experienced. So now coming and living here, I've had to regrow, and I can show that due to my past trauma and wanting to end my life, that we do hold an inner strength, and we can regrow and we can renature, and just to make those choices. And eventually, even getting into this fitness realm, I didn't drive. I lived on an island I live in Isle Madame in Cape Breton, and there's no buses, no taxis, and I walked to work for the best part of 7 years. And 6 years ago, I learned to drive because I didn't drive. So that was really the biggest hang up. How could I go and teach classes? I can't drive anywhere. Right. So now I got my car and I put a wrap on it, put pink wheel rims on it, blinged it out to look like a sports car, have my big logo on it. So now I can class myself as outreach, wellness and fitness instructor or coach, and go to all the community halls within Richmond County where I live to spread the knowledge of maintaining a healthy, active lifestyle.
Oh, I love that. And I would love for you to share share with me a picture of your car so I can post it in the group, because I want to show everyone your blinged out car. Email me one after. I need to see it now.
Yes. So basically my gym is my car. Because I was join the local gym that had opened on the island. The gym's been open now 10 years. It's called the iFit Centre Al Madame, and I'm one of the main instructors there. I got on with the Richmond Municipality Recreation Department, so I teach classes with their support. So they pay for the hall space and you get paid for your class. And I've since, where I was doing my community walks for free, I was doing 16 walks a year on the island. I did the NS Walks walk leader. So my walks are now tied with NS Walks as a collaboration. So I don't have to pay anything out now. And because I'm part of the Cape Breton Welcome Network for the Al Madame chapter, I've got on with the Cape Breton Partnership and Blip and Connect, and 2 of my walks have now become part of them as a collaboration. So again, now I don't have to worry about paying out for my free walks that I was paying. So I've kind of shifted some of my community walks to 2 other companies or non-profits, and hopefully just keep growing with the community stuff.
I love that. I love it. You're really just like taking full ownership of that like community aspect, right? Of like that ripple effect that happens by one person.
When you immigrate to another country and you move to a community which is to become your home, it's your place of belonging, trying to find yourself, and you have this sense of you have to give something to the community. You have to give something because you've moved to that community. And I think So it's like, what can you give?
Mm.
Well, I can give my knowledge and my life experiences.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
because you want to try and create something because you've come to live somewhere else.
Right. Right. No, that's actually a really beautiful thought though, to think about it that way, to think of like, that because you're joining a community, you now want to integrate into that community, but also gift them something for welcoming you, is essentially what you're saying. I love
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you, Sonia, for sharing. And I'm
you're
sorry that
welcome.
you went through those hardships, but I'm also very, very, very grateful that you were here today and that you were also here to share that story and that inspiration and message with the world. So thank you.
It is. I mean, it is well known that also, obviously, physical activity does help promote mental health in a
Mhm.
lot of ways. So, yes, this is it. I am me and what I give.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Now, my next question for my entire panelists is a little bit more about the certification. Some of you graduated a while ago, so you're going to have to like go back into your brain. But I really just want to know, like, when you think about the certification, is there something in there when you were going through it that you were just like, oh my gosh, this clicks. Like, this makes sense to me. Like, I feel like 100% I'm on the right path. Maybe it started right away. Maybe as soon as you made the decision to sign up, it happened. Or maybe it's like you were learning something, an aspect of it that was just like, oh my gosh, I never knew this. Like it was kind of mind blowing in that moment. That I'd love to hear that. And then also with that, I'd also love to hear like, if you felt like the certification prepared you for what was to come after. So prepared you with the skills or the knowledge. I know we chatted about that a little bit briefly. But I'd love to know if you felt that was the case. And of course, for some of you, you took certifications before. I'd love to know what the comparison is. So it's like a three-part question. It's a big loaded question. But essentially, if there was something that helped you kind of click in your brain that you were like, yes, this is it. If there's something that if you took other certifications, you don't have to say which ones, but just if you felt like there was a difference, a comparison of the two, and in your mind, if this prepared you for the outcome that you really desired. So, Christy, I'm going to start with you.
Okay. So yeah, it was almost 4 years ago now, maybe more, if I'm thinking of it. It was right when COVID hit. So um I think the thing with me that clicked is just because I'd already worked for Fit Chicks like 14, 15 years ago. So to me, I'd thought about it constantly. So I already knew that this was the company I was going to go with,
Yeah.
no matter what, no matter what was to come of it. But I think when I was doing it, one, I love that I could do it on my own, like my own pace. Like I know there's a bit of a time frame, but pretty essential, especially as, a working mom. It was great to be able to do it at your own pace. Now I had more time in COVID to get it done quicker than I would have expected. Um, and just the in-depth knowledge that we got was to me incredible. Like I was certified through CanFit Pro before I started working with you guys way back when, but that was just the fitness aspect. And although it's great, CanFit Pro is a great company and they certify great. I just find that with Fit Chicks, it dives so much deeper into things. And you have time to like go through things to have it like resonate and to understand things. Even if you couldn't make certain, you know, um, classes, whether, you know what I mean? Like you had time to go through things and read it. So to me, that was the best part of it. And I mean, I've recommended you guys constantly to anyone thinking of it. It's always high in my recommendations. And if anyone were to say, and it's hard because I find like everyone knows CanFit Pro or everyone knows like specific things. So when I've been questioned when I've said, oh, I've been certified with this company, and they're like, well, what is this? Who is this company? What do they do? And then I just list off everything, and then
Yeah.
it just comes back. They're like, oh, okay, but yeah, I think I'm sure I might be missing a question in there. 'Cause I
No,
just,
that's okay. It was a loaded one, but that's amazing. And I guess my question for you is just, do you feel like the confidence that you had when you graduated just like was really there for you?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it goes back into it, especially because you took that time off with your boys and
Yeah.
everything else. So for you to take the certification, get recertified with us, and then jump back into like, okay, I'm going to start my own thing. Do you feel like that brought your confidence back to where it needed to be to get to continue to move forward?
100% because of the knowledge that or the information that's put into the courses. I as much confidence as you can have coming into starting something brand new.
Yeah.
I always knew that I could go back to my notes. I could reach out for help. I could there was even, I believe, at the end of it there was that business accelerator portion as well, which
Mm.
really helped. I have to
Yeah.
say that part was amazing. Just because I had no idea how to start a business. Like
Right.
I'm complete opposite of a risk taker, as we touched on a little bit before. I'm just like, so all that stuff helped. And yes, the confidence that I had to go into it, was so much more than I had with the previous certification because I knew I had you guys behind me.
Right. No, and I love that. I love that so much because I think that's that is what we want to give. We want to give not just the certification and not the details, but also the business side because that's the part. It's like, cool, I graduated, I have this piece of paper, but then now what do I do?
Yeah.
So I love that you touched on that because I think it's such an important piece. Thank you, Christy. And hello, we have a new panelist joining us. How exciting. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Good morning. I think it's morning for you where you're at.
Yes.
Hello, how are you today?
Good morning, Amanda. It's 9:31 in Edmonton.
Yes, I know you're on a different time zone. So I think there was a bit of confusion on the time zone, but I'm so happy you made it. Before we get to everyone else answering the question I just asked, can you just take a second, just introduce yourself, tell all of our viewers a little bit about you and who you are, where you started, all that kind of good stuff. Just a little brief overview, and then we can dive into it because I want to make sure that you just have a moment to be able to share your platform and who you are as well, please.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. My name is Angie, and I live in Edmonton. I have two boys, and I'm married. And in my early 20s, I started working out because I was overweight. I lost the weight, and then I got married, and I had kids. The weight piled up again. So it's been like a roller coaster.
Uh-huh.
So come I think it was 2021 when I got certified, I was just looking for how to start a coaching business because when the pandemic hit, I was looking for how to continue working out. And I started losing the weight. And people started asking me, why don't you start teaching people? And I said to myself, I can only teach what I know. So I need to get certified. So that's when I Googled fitness training and I came across Fit Chicks. And that was just the name. The Fit Chicks
Yeah.
was just what really resonated with me. I wanted something I could relate to, something that was for women, something that really understood what we were going through. And I got certified. It was daunting at first because I had no idea about the human anatomy, but it was
Yeah.
so easy to understand, a lot of information to go back to, and the community. And you, Amanda, I would send you emails, and within 24 hours, you would just reply with so much enthusiasm. So I'm really enjoying this. I really am. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Angie, for being here. I mean, I'm so happy you made it today, and I'm so happy that we were able to share this message. And I like to approach everything, even my emails, with a lot of enthusiasm. So I'm glad that that resonates, and I'm glad that that shows up in everything that I do. Um, all right, Angie, we're gonna get back to you. I'm gonna go over to Wanda. Cindy had to leave us, unfortunately, from the panelists because she just has an appointment she had to head to. So, Cindy, thank you so much for joining us. But I'm going to, I'll repeat the question so then, Angie, you can prepare it sort of in your mind too. But thank you so much for being here. And so, Wanda, we'll go to you next. And if you can just share a little bit more about how you felt like the certification maybe prepared you for what was to come, as well as, gave you everything that you need, if so. And then also, if you compare it, because I know that you have multiple certifications before, how do you feel like it compares to how you were set up before from other programs?
Right. Yes. So the other ones are usually a weekend long, 3 days long, and then you just go learn it, feel it, do your thing with it.
Memorize it.
I loved the format that you guys had. I blocked out when you guys were releasing something. I was like the keener. I don't know if you guys picked up on that or not, but soon as the time block came, I got my laptop out on the back porch and it was my time to learn. I love the format. I actually miss it. I miss showing up for Laura and you for any of the courses. I did the homework right away. Yeah, I actually signed up for both of them at the same time. I think they were at the same time. I don't remember. It was a few years ago now. So personal training as well, or fitness instructing. Did I do both? Did I, is there
You
those?
did the fitness and nutrition program. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So doing that, I've already a personal trainer, fitness instructor for already 12 years by then, but I still did it, learned some new things. I can't say that was that. Oh, I don't remember that. It's been a few years. But I loved how we did it, or you guys did it, built up on it, did homework. Like it was, I loved it. I become a keener when it comes to this stuff. And then when you did the menopause course, I'm like, yeah, sign me up. Yeah, so just being able to have you guys along the way instead of doing 3 days downtown Toronto with people that are there for all different reasons, which is great. I love it. But yeah, then I had to just figure it out on my own. So yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, but I'm certified.
And I mean, it's interesting too, because you come at it from a place of like, you were already certified as a group fitness instructor and a personal trainer for years and working at the gym and stuff. So you were approaching it from a completely different angle, because we have some people who are just starting out. We have people who are aspiring coaches that literally have taken no certifications. One of the fears that they have, and I'd love for you just to share it, like, because you already had certifications, you were looking at the content and you might have felt like it was, like, oh, I kind of know some of this stuff, or I know anatomy and stuff. But for someone who's coming in, as NG pointed out as well just a minute ago, like, did you feel like it is accessible for anybody? Because the way that we've
Absolutely.
tried to present it is to make sure that everybody can like really understand it and absorb it and like simplify it as much as possible, so we make it not complex. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. My husband heard so many times, why didn't I do this one first?
Yeah.
Why didn't I do this one first? So yeah, absolutely. You guys just make it user friendly, and yeah, it works. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, Wanda.
You're welcome.
And Sonia, same question for you. What did you feel like in terms of the program itself, like any kind of big aha moments or any kind of moments that felt like, do you feel like you were set up for success when you graduated?
Yes, very much so. I've always spent the winter as a hibernation, self-growth study time, because I'm not a fan for the cold. And from doing a lot of online courses, a lot of them were all through expert rating. So they weren't really recognised. And then the accessibility being rural to attend anywhere is kind of not really doable. So this program, like, it's excellent. It covered everything. It was an all-round program, like, to gain self-accountability, get time management skills. Like, it gave you all that promotion by the time you got to the end of the program if you didn't have it. So even though the whole get all three, fitness, nutrition, and the wellness, you developed your own skills along the way.
I love that.
And the fact that, the practical side, which, it was like, I've got to try and do these burpees and I've got a bum knee. But it was, to me, it was very well set out, and it was easy, it's easy to navigate if you've already used to doing programs online. but it was well structured out, and yeah, it's certainly highly recommended. So glad to be a fit chick. It's my cherry on top of the cake, and you gave me the support when I had to put the program on hold in 2023. So I was a year later getting certified. So now I'm a year in and I've got a year longer out of it. So yeah, really, really pleased with the whole program. I wouldn't hesitate to recommend anybody else starting on a fitness journey and to get all three.
Oh, thank you, Sonia. I appreciate that. Now, what about you, NG? Same question. What would you say is, did you feel like there was any big aha moments for you in the program? And, because you were an aspiring coach, like you didn't have certifications behind you in the beginning. You were coming into it fresh eyes, a brand new coach. Did you have like big aha moments, or did you have any moments that you felt like, oh my gosh, this is definitely the right path for me? And in terms of like when you graduated, do you feel like we really set you up for success?
Absolutely. The aha moment for me was the business information, because I had no idea how to start a business, what to call it, what to do. So that was the aha moment. So
Yeah.
I knew exactly what to do when I get to the registry, what to take with me. And then another aha moment was the cheat sheet, the one that comes with the modifications and the injuries. Because before I started this fitness journey, I had no injuries at all. Everything seemed to be perfect. But I forget that as we get older, life happens. And now that I've started teaching people, and then I also have my own injuries as well, it doesn't stop me, because it makes it more easier to navigate and to understand that life will happen. But there's so many ways to navigate through the situation, and you will still get maximum, returns from it. So it's just, whenever I remember the certification, I smile. I'm confident. I'm happy because I know that I made the right decision.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Thank you. That means a lot to us because that's really, we want to make sure that everything that we gift to you in this program is not only giving you the skills to be able to be a confident coach, but also giving you everything you need to build your dream life, right? In career and business and everything else. So for us, it's so important. And so I love that that is kind of like that's resonating and making sense. And so, next question is for Christy. And again, I'll go around everyone, but I'd love to just start with you, Christy. Just tell us a little bit more about what life looks like now for you in your business. Because I know that you are working full time still, and then you have your business on the side, but what that looks like for you, how, and like one of the biggest, like, I guess, like one of your moments in your business that you were just like, yes, like the biggest, like rewarding moment. Like, I know for me, it was like when we had our first client sign up and we were like we still remember that moment. Like Laura and I were like, someone's just paid us to do something. That's crazy. So I'd love to
Um,
hear from you what your biggest moment was and sort of what you're doing now in your coaching.
yeah. So right now in my coaching, I started, it's starting COVID. I started with online classes. Everything was online, right? But I've now progressed to there's no more online. I do in-person classes twice a week. I do nutrition plans as well. I was doing one-on-one coaching and I still will, but that's not, I will say that's not really my, I want to say bread and butter right now. And just because I am working full time, sometimes it takes away
Mm-hmm.
specific times during the day where people want to train and I just can't, unfortunately. So there's goals in mind for sure for that. But
Yeah.
and as well, because I have the perimenopause menopause coaching certification as well. I also coach perimenopause programs as well, and I've done, which we've touched on, workshops with perimenopause. And I
Mm.
think so. Definitely my that moment is, yes, when my first person signed up. I think that's going to be majority of people's first, like, oh my God, it's amazing, right? Someone, exactly that. Someone is going to trust me to teach a class or to teach. My very first nutrition client, I will say, was diabetic. I was like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not, and I have to say to date, she's my most successful client with everything. It throws me into learning more stuff too, as well as nutrition. Definitely, learned a lot of stuff, but I had to go and learn more stuff with the fact that she was diabetic to make sure we were doing a plan tailored towards her needs. But yeah, she is my most successful client to date. So that's a big one for me. And my menopause workshops. So my first two sold out at 100 women each. So I was like floored when women just kept signing up. I was just like, every time someone signed up, I would look at my husband. I'm like, I just got 10 more women. Like, I'm now at this much, And I think that was my peak. That was my this
Oh
is
my gosh,
amazing.
I have like goosebumps
Yeah.
head to toe right now because every time you tell me that story, I'm like, I hope everybody understood what she just said.
Yeah.
Her very first workshop she launched for the holistic perimenopause program. So for menopause people, she wanted to offer a workshop to basically just introduce them to menopause coaching in a different way.
Yeah.
And she had 200 people sign up for her very
Yeah.
first 100 for each. She had to run back to back once because
Yeah.
you didn't have space.
I didn't have enough. And I was just floored. Now I've run other workshops since and definitely not that much, maybe 30 women in each, but even that's still great,
Amazing. So
Yeah.
good.
And I've now brought it out so I live in Kentville. It's a small town in, outside of Ottawa type thing. So I've now pushed outside of the Kentville area and offered it other places.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that was one of my top. My very first client was diabetic, and she's my most successful. And then my menopause workshops.
Amazing. Amazing. We're so proud of you. It's so good.
Thank you.
And Wanda, what about you? Same question.
Nice work, Christy. Can you remind me the question?
Oh yeah. I'm like, what was the question? No. The question was basically just if you had that, what was like the biggest, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this just happened when you graduated, like the biggest moment in your business and what you're currently doing in your business. I know you touched on it a little bit before, but just to let people know really what you've got going on.
Okay. I do not remember the first client. I don't remember.
That's okay.
Because I've done it with my personal training clients, so there was no one first one. I think I had several that signed up. So with working this full time, I have the freedom of making my schedule the way it is. So just before COVID, April 6th was going to be my first week of not working evenings anymore. I'm done with the evenings. I miss so much with my kids. It wasn't for me anymore, right? I'm like, I just want daytime stuff. And I know it's hard to get daytime stuff because people are at work. But I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make it work. But COVID said, oh no, you're not just not working evenings. You are out completely. I'm taking you down at the knee, right? So I'll take a long break, not just evenings. But just making that decision, because in the 12 years or so, I've been working evenings 3 nights a week. It was brutal. So 12 till 9, sometimes 7 till 9, and then that break. And then it was just a lot of hours. So I've changed my schedule to work with humans, peopling Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday morning, a couple of hours. So Tuesdays and Thursdays were like my administration day, my do whatever I want day, go for a bike ride, sleep in, whatever it was. But since then, I did take a couple classes on early in the morning for the county. But being able to do that was huge. I'm still processing it that my husband goes to work 7 to 4, Monday to Friday. And I feel like because he's at work, I should still be working. So I'm still working on that part. But yeah, now that we've gotten back over this COVID thing, everything in this industry was probably hit really hard. So it's let's get back going. Let's go back, get back at it. I could say that I'm financially better than I was before COVID, before this certification. So yeah, definitely added on. And the menopause course, same with Christy, because we're at that age that we are living the dream as well as practicing and preaching and sharing and helping. It's again, up the game. I haven't gotten to the workshops yet. But yeah, it's on my to-do list, and you just inspired me to like take it up a little bit.
You guys need to connect.
Yeah,
Connect
yeah,
in our grad group.
yeah,
Christy will share all the goods.
yeah, for sure. And the done for you stuff is coming, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the part I struggle with, is that the business part, or the Canva, the getting stuff to be able to hand to somebody. And you guys do it all. You've got me covered, and everybody else that's passed this course as well.
That's the
Like
plan.
it
That's the plan. We just
you
want to
got my
make this
back.
as easy as possible. We just want you to be able to just hit the ground running.
I
So
love it. I love it. Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
Right
you,
after
Wanda.
this call, I'm gonna go and through the drop that you did yesterday and put all my branding on it and get it out there. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. And Sonia, what about you? What was maybe one of the moments that you had that was like the biggest, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened after you graduated? And then also, um, just something like, do you feel like you were really set up for success in that way?
I think my delayed aha was actually putting out my first 6-week active lifestyle and wellness challenge workbook in January this year at the local gym. I'd done one previously 3 years ago with the main gym in the town of Port Hawkesbury. We just had a couple of people sign up, but this was an actual workbook, and it covered 4 topics within the self-care, sleep, mind, body and soul, hydration and physical activity. And I did it 2 days in person. We had strength work upper body, and then you got home work lower body. And then I did 3 Zooms. I had 11 people sign up, and a 6 fulfilled it all the way through. And I have my second part starting in the middle of April, and that will actually have a nutrition aspect, because that alone was too big to put within the workbook. So you actually got a physical book.
Oh, that's amazing.
And the county printed them out for me, and then I just downloaded and printed out the workouts each week, because it was all in person. So it was set up to be designed as an online, and then you got sent the workbook and you got sent the workouts. So yeah, I was really chuffed that I got a few people in the local community sign up, and I had 1 gentleman, even though the rest was women. So it was good. It was, yeah. So all I can do is build. I want to be able to do the mini workshops in the community around the topics of nutrition and wellness in general. So now I've got 1 workbook, I can start building on the rest, and again use the tools from our learning on the program to be able to do like the mini slideshows and go to the community halls. So yeah, it's really tough.
I love too that because of the partnership that you have with the county, that they're actually printing them for you and stuff like that too. That's amazing. It's so smart.
We did it very low cost. We did it very low cost. We did it as a sign up for $48 as a pilot for the 6 weeks, and it will be the same for the second one. The aim is to try and reach as many people within it's to take away barriers.
Yeah. The financial barrier of getting a coach. Yeah. And getting started. That's amazing. Congratulations. That's so wonderful.
Yeah. Well, it's good because like my main classes, I do a core spin. So it's strength, core and cardio. And there's 8 spin bikes, but I use the other modalities in the gym, in the room. Yeah. And I run that all winter. It's 7 months. Built the program up all on progressive. We use every tool each month at the gym. And I've just come to the end of the 7th season of doing it. And then I went out and bought 10 modified spin bikes, little foot health riders. And I did my first community one in another community centre in Lower River. I had a couple of women sign up, and 1 lady was in her 80s doing this modified spin circuit. So we did so many minutes on a pedal bike. We did upper body strength. then we did a little pedal bike, and then we did lower body. So that's been my big program, is the core spin, and then the mat Pilates ring. And I've been getting extra women coming out to the community for that. So it's all new.
I
New
love
pilot
that.
in Richmond County.
That's amazing. That's so amazing. And
Nobody's
I
doing
love you.
my core spin, and nobody's been doing mat Pilates ring. And I've got probably about 10 women where I live that have actually gone out and purchased these magic rings.
That's so great. I actually love too that you shared that, Sonia, because I think one of the things that people sometimes have a misconception of is if they take the fitness and nutrition expert certification with Fit Chicks Academy, that they're getting certified as a boot camp instructor. Because that's what we operated as, but that's actually not at all what we're teaching you. We're teaching you a foundation of getting certified in group fitness, personal training, nutrition, and wellness coaching. We're not teaching you a specific modality. We're teaching you all of the foundations so you create your own. So that's what you've done, right? And that's what all of you have done, is created your own foundation, like having the foundations, but then created your own sort of pathway into what that would look like for you, whether it be strength training or like Cindy with power training and all these kinds of different things. It can be boot camp, but it doesn't have to be that. And I love that you had an 80-year-old. That's so cool. So thank you, Sonia. And NG, same question. I want to know from you, what is like, if you had one of those moments that was like, oh, and then also if you felt like you were really prepared when you graduated.
Um, I I felt prepared, but I was just scared. I was scared because of my age, and because I didn't look like the toned women you see on the front covers of magazines. So I thought people wouldn't take me seriously. But actually, that wasn't the case, because people were already introducing me, people were already looking at me and waiting for me to work with them. When I finished my program, I had 5 to 7 people who signed up for my first class. So my focus was, I'm just going to do strictly online. No one's going to see me in person. It's going to be group fitness classes because they seem to be easier. So it was more like a zigzag kind of format for the last 2 years. But in the last 2 years, I started getting public speaking engagements, and that was not the plan, because I don't like speaking in public. I was really scared. I was scared, and I had to reach out
But
to a
did you
couple
do
of
it
friends.
anyways? But did you do it
I,
anyways?
I did it the first time, and I kept on doing it. I kept on
Yes.
doing it, and I said, you know what? Just be yourself. Be yourself and bring in your own personality. So I've been doing it for the last 2 years. And then suddenly, last month, I got my first personal training client. And before then, it occurred to me that, look, don't be scared to put value on what you do, because whatever value you put on your workshops or on your personal training, that's what people are going to perceive. So don't be scared to say, I charge this much, because you're scared that, oh, people might not want to patronize you because you're too expensive. And I said to myself, no, it's all about value. So I quickly created a price list when I finished chatting with the client, and I sent it to her, and she was like, oh, fine, I'll pay. And I was like, so someone's paying me to do this, as in, maybe I should have charged less. And I said, no, you shouldn't, because this is the value. You're putting value here. So you shouldn't be scared to put a price on it. And whoever's not willing to pay, that's not your client. And I've learned to say no to some people. I've learned to understand that you can't work with everybody, and it's not a bad thing. So that was my aha moment when I got my first client. I'm still working with her, and in my head, I always thought that there will be the perfect client who would be like me, who's very disciplined and they have everything sorted out, but it's not the case. It's a real human being who's very busy, and I've just learned to go with the flow.
Yeah. Oh, Angie, you're like dropping just like bomb after bomb of knowledge around business when you're like, no, I have to value it. If they don't want to pay for it, they're not my client and stuff. So good. Literally, I couldn't have said it better because it's so true. It's like such a fear, right? Like, oh, should I charge and should I offer it for free and should I do these things? But then once we do it, we recognize like, oh my gosh, our clients If we don't charge, if we don't value it, they won't value it. If we don't actually, if we work with someone who we don't align with, then it's going to feel like friction consistently, right? It's not going to feel like, if it won't feel good for either side. So it's like all of those things. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was so good. And like all of you, thank you so much. Now, Laura is in the waiting room. Laura, you can jump in if you want. She's here because we're going to be doing our wrap up for our holistic fitness coach week. We had this whole week that we've been doing, like where we've been just sharing like a ton of information and knowledge and workshops and micro trainings and all these things, and it's been like so insane and so awesome. And so we're going to be doing a wrap up, but before we do, I'd love to hear from each of you. Just one last thing. I want to know, number one, I want to know, what would you say to someone right now who's been in our holistic fitness coach week, who's like on the fence? They're like, should I get certified? Should I not? I don't know. Is this the right path? Is this the right program? Is this the right company for me? I would just love to know what your opinion is on that, and your honest opinion. Everyone here, I've never told you any of these questions. It's completely unfiltered. This is your own unbiased opinion. And then I'd also like to just know, in your heart of hearts, like, you became a certified coach for what reason? What is the, like, finish that statement. I became a certified holistic fitness coach for, and then just finish that statement for me. And if you wrote it down, I know I mentioned if you could write it down. If you wrote it down, you'll hold it up when you say that, and that would be amazing. So, uh,
I hope
yes,
you can read it.
of course we can read that for sure. All right.
So,
So, Angie, why don't we start with you then? Tell us, what would you say you became a certified coach for? And then also, um, what would you say to someone right now who's watching, who's like on the fence? They're like, maybe I want to become a certified coach. I don't know. Is this the right company for me? What would you say to them right now?
well, I became a fitness and nutrition coach so I can start my coaching business. And to anyone who's sitting on the fence, you have something to lose if you don't.
Mm.
You have something to lose if you don't. That's what I would say, and a lot to gain if you do.
Oh man, I have like full on like tingly shivers all the way down. That was so great. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Oh, so good. So good. Thank you, NG. And I'm so happy you made it here today. I'm so, so grateful. I'm so grateful for all of you. Now, Christy, what would you say is, um, to anyone who's on the fence? And then also, if you wrote it down, why you became a certified coach?
Okay, so if anyone's on the fence, I don't have to follow Angie, what she just said so nicely. I just do it. Honestly, like I said, I am not a risk taker by all means. I'm actually, like I said, furthest far on the other side of the spectrum. It has been the best decision I've ever made. You guys are just there for everyone. You will get not just a certification, you're going to get a community and a family who are constantly there to help you out. And along, obviously, with Amanda and Laura, you have the other women who've been certified to help too with questions and comments and that when you're in the Facebook group. And it's just things you may not think of. And I think just the constant support is, besides the information, which is amazing and breaks it down, so easily to understand. I think the support is the main thing, because I think that's what we need after the fact, to understand that we're all going through the same thing. So honestly, I'd say do it. Like, if I, who am not a risk taker, can do it, anyone really can. And you can grow from it. So,
That's amazing. Thank you,
um,
Christy.
and the reason I did it, I don't know if you can see, is to help
Hold it up.
women. You see it there?
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
To help women get off that diet cycle. I have been on a diet cycle since I was probably 16. And I came to a point in my life where I was like, we can't do this anymore as women. Like, we need to learn how to eat properly and stop these fad diets. And I'm such a big believer in it. And I push it very hard in my coaching, that it's not a diet, that it literally is a change in your lifestyle. So you never have to like count, weigh, take things out, all that stuff, and you can still reach your goals and live happily with food and no guilt.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so powerful. So important too. It's such an important message. I always say, like, as holistic fitness and nutrition coaches, we actually have the power, the ability to say to our clients, like, I can help you never diet again. Imagine that. Imagine if you were like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when you didn't know this knowledge and you're sitting there on the fad diet cycle. If you had someone actually say that to you, I'd probably cry, right? Like, I'd be like, oh my gosh, is this real? I wouldn't even believe it because you get so stuck. So, Christy, that's amazing. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful for what it is that you're doing in your community. So, thank you. Now, Wanda, same question. I'm getting all teary eyed,
All
guys.
right. So if you're sitting on the fence, it is a guaranteed win. And I'm going to say a win. When you're going through the program, I can say, I guarantee you're going to get healthier by the end of it. You're going to try, you're going to do everything that is going through the program. I can't say, like, I was my healthiest. Am I as healthy as I was before, but you guys like took it up a notch during that time, and I still haven't changed it. But I can guarantee as well that somebody's going to want a little bit of what you got. So somebody's going to be like, what are you doing? And they'll say, sign me up and show me how to do it. And there you go, win-win.
Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And why did you become a holistic fitness coach?
To grow my coaching business and empowering clients with trusted strategies. I love knowing the material that we're getting is like on. It's so trusted. I never doubted anything that you guys ever said.
Oh, thank you. That means so much because it's, everything that we do, we really do it based on science, based on research, and based on knowledge of, 20 years basically almost in this industry. We've owned this business for over 16 years, and we've been in this industry and learning and growing for over 20. Both Laura and I, all of our team members, everybody's vetted, everybody's successful. And so that means a lot to just know that that really resonates with people. So thank you.
For sure, yeah. When I ask for like resources, whoever's in the background, like I can't remember her name, but she's like, here it is. Like it didn't take days or weeks or anything. It was like, there it is. And yeah,
Yeah.
that it just for sure.
Probably Chelsea. Chelsea's on
Yes,
our
yes,
background.
yes,
She's
yes, yeah,
responding
yeah,
to a lot of things. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's our lead researcher, we'll call her.
Right. Yeah. No, she had it like right then. Like, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing. All of our team is amazing. They're really there. That's the thing is, like, we really pride ourselves on, and just like not just Laura and I being here, but like our entire team, and like even Christy said, the community aspect. When you graduate, you're not just like on your own. Like, we want you to be successful. We want you in the world spreading healthy love. We want you to be growing your business. We want NG getting on stages and being like the next, like, Tony Robbins of the world. Like, that's what I see for you. But we want all of these things. We want that so much. Now, Sonia, same question for you. What would you say to someone who's on the fence right now who might be like, I don't know, is this the right academy for me? Is this the right program for me? Is this the right path for me? And then also, why did you become a certified holistic fitness and nutrition coach?
Well, all I can say is go for it. We have one life. You'll find empowerment in yourself, which you can just share. And we know that the information we're getting each month, even on those monthly drops, are A1 and fully usable. And I've had over 35 years in healthcare, from being a registered manager and to the role I have now. So it's like I'm 52. There's no age barrier. You just got to go for it. Like,
Yeah.
I became certified as a fitness coach because it is to also help women on their strength and wellness journeys.
I love that. I love that so much. And especially too what you shared earlier, right? About helping people with modifications. You're the modification queen. So being someone who can actually inspire people with that, I think is so powerful because so many people feel stuck when they have to modify.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, all of you, so much love. Like literally, I'm so, so deeply grateful and honored that you were able to show up today and just share your message with our entire community and, be able to share what it is that you're doing, where you were at, where you're at now, how inspirational each and every one of you are. All of our graduates are so incredible. And I send love to all of them consistently. I'm just, I'm so, so happy though. And you have no idea, like checking in with you guys doing this, it also makes me so excited because it's like, it reminds me about each and every one of you because we see each of you as individuals in our academy. We don't see people just as numbers, and it's not just like this faceless company. We really and truly try to connect with every one of you. There's Laura. And so
Just over
I
here
think for
crying.
us,
Don't mind me.
I know, I'm like all like, okay. Um, but I think that we see every one of you and we love every one of you in the exact same way. And I'm just, I don't know, my heart gets full because I'm like, it's so nice to know that that resonates, and it's so also nice to know and to catch up with all of you and to hear what it is that you're actually doing in this world, because we know, but then we don't always hear it and we're not always reminded of it. So it's like nice to be able to hear that. So I'm genuinely crying. I'm sorry. I'm like I'm like an emotional mess. I'm perimenopausal, guys. I think my emotions are a little crazy. I don't know. But but
Don't worry,
I'm
we'll help you with
so
that.
like I know my heart is just like it feels like it's gonna explode. I'm just so happy. It's my favorite way to start my day today. This is gonna be like the best day ever. But I just want to thank every single one of you like so, so much. It's just so nice to just see you all again. So thank you. Laura, is there anything you want to share? And then we're gonna do our wrap up. So we'll we'll say goodbye to our panelists. We'll say thank you again to each and every one of you for being so inspirational. Continue doing your work, continue
Yes.
growing, continue making impacts, and continue connecting with us. Tell us, keep us updated. We want to know. We want to know what it is that you're doing. And gee, when you stand in front of like 10,000 people on a stage, like you have to send me a photo. Sonia, you have to send us a picture of your car. I need to see this blinged out automobile. Christy, we need to just keep hearing all about like the different workshops and like everything that you're growing because you are like this workshop master with like 200 people signing up. And then Wanda, same thing. Like I need to know what like have you ever beat your own personal best on your races because you've like done a million of them. I want to know. I want to know every single time that you crush your new goals. So please just keep us updated though because we need to know. But
And I want to
yeah.
say two things. Number one is everyone in the chat is like, thank you guys so much for sharing these experiences. Amanda and I are such big believers of we cannot be what we cannot see. So for you guys showing up and sharing, you're giving somebody else possibility who could be just like you, could be stuck and is like, whoa, wait a second. I relate to Sonia, or I relate to Angie, or I relate to Christy, or I relate to Wanda, right? Like you're giving somebody else. And that's even how, for us, if we never saw people doing what we were doing, we would never have even stepped into this arena. So thank you guys so much. And secondly, thank you from my personal bottom of my heart, because literally hearing you guys speak, like I have chills and I don't want to cry. And I probably will because I'm also perimenopausal. It's just this is the manifestation of what we envisioned when we started Fit Chicks. It was not just about us helping women get healthier. It was about women helping their communities get healthier. So for me, this is like one of those moments. I journaled about this. I dreamed about this. And to hear you guys speak, it's like we created it and you created it. And to be a part of this, like this has just been incredible. So thank you guys so much for being here, and of course for trusting in us and for helping us also make our dream and mission come true. And like we're just getting started. Amanda and I were talking about this the other day. It's like everyone who's in our just wait, guys. We've got so much great stuff coming for you. We're just literally like this last 16 years has been warm up and it's go time. So we're so pumped to have you guys along for the ride.
Yeah, no, definitely. So all of you, thank you so, so much.
Thank you guys.
No,
You're
thank you.
welcome. We'll
Thank
see you
you. Thank you.
soon.
Yes, we will see you all very soon.
Thank
We'll see you
you.
inside of the grad community. Have the most amazing Sunday, everyone. And for everybody who's live with us, Laura and I are going to hang now for a bit and we're just going to do our wrap up, our holistic fitness coach week
Grand finale.
finale. I know, wild that it's ending. Yes, yes, you can all hold up your signs and we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a picture. Everyone hold up your sign.
Oh yeah. Please.
Hold on, one more.
Amazing.
Yay!
All right, everyone. Have the most amazing day, and we will see you again.
We'll
We'll
see you
see you
soon.
all soon inside of our academy.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.